Hello, good holy everyone. I am Glendale L. Gonzalez, and today I am very honored to present this one of the very interesting approaches in linguistics, the categorical grammar or CG. Are you ready? Why is it named categorical grammar? Well, it is named so because it focuses on the interchangeability of syntactic categories and their connection to meaning. It is essentially about understanding how different parts of language fit together like building blocks. It focuses on how words and phrases combine to create meaning. Now, what makes categorical grammar interesting is that it's a linguistic framework that combines elements of logic and mathematics to systematically analyze sentence structure. And this framework was developed by a logician. Later we'll be discussing these functions below. X forward slash y times y equals x, and the y times x backslash y equals x. In categorical grammar, don't you worry, because despite its mathematical and logical foundation, it can be easily understood. Again, it's founded on the principles of logic. Categorical grammar treats words as mathematical objects, applying logical principles to describe their relationships and meanings. And so, by categorizing words and analyzing their connections, categorical grammar offers a clear and systematic approach to understanding how language works. The objective is for you to understand the two basic rules in categorical grammar. So at the end of the discussion, you will be able to combine categories using the forward and backward application. But before that, let us know first the history of categorical grammar. Do you know that categorical grammar is one of the oldest approaches in linguistics? It was developed by Kazimierz Hdukewicz, and guess what? He was a Polish logician. You heard it right. He was a logician. He introduced the key concept of categorical grammar in the 1930s, or 1935 to be exact. What made a logician develop an approach in linguistics? Well, he wanted to apply principles of formal logic to the analysis of language. He aimed to develop a systematic framework for linguistic analysis. And he proved it possible. And that's the reason why he introduced the concept of categorical grammar. Linguistic categories can also be used by logical operations in sentence structure. His emphasis on the relationship between syntax and semantics paved the way for the integration of logical methods into linguistic analysis. And these contributions of Ashdukiwish to categorical grammar continue to be studied and discussed in linguistic research until today. So below is an example of how the rules of categorical grammar work. It's surely complicated, but don't you worry, this will be very easy for you. Categorical grammar is a grammar in which constituents or categories are combined according to their function-argument relations. Functor is represented by X, and argument is represented by Y. So here's a brief explanation of what these symbols represent. X represents a category that takes a certain type of argument, and Y represents a category that can be an argument of another category. So the slash notation represents the function-argument relationship between the two categories. For example, x forward slash y indicates that x takes y as an argument. Now in categorical grammar, we only need these two essential skills. First, we should know how to identify the x and y in a complex category, and we also need to master the use of forward slash and backslash as our guides on the direction of the combination. Here are some of the categorical representations in categorical grammar. Noun phrase can be represented by NP if the noun phrase is complete, or NP forward slash N if our noun phrase has a determiner. I'll be explaining this further later. In verb phrase, instead of using VP, we will use S or sentence backslash NP. Our main goal is to categorize everything in the sentence until it will all become one, meaning our last category should be represented by the symbol S. And in order for S to be used in the formulation, instead of using VP or verb phrase, we will use the S backslash NP, a category that needs an NP from the left in order to become a sentence. Now, adjectives are represented by a category that takes a noun or N as an argument and yields another noun, and that's why it's N forward slash N. And the last one is sentence. Sentence is formed by combining a subject and predicate, right? So here our subject is an NP and our predicate is a VP. And that is again represented by a S backslash NP. Are you ready for the exciting part? Here are the two rules in categorical grammar: the forward application and the backward application. The forward application is represented by this mathematical equation: the x forward slash y times y equals x. For the forward application rule, we'll use this equation: x forward slash y times y equals x, where x is our functor and y is our argument. The forward slash serves as our guide. Forward slash means we will look to the right. It's like x asking a y from the right, or give me a y coming from the right. Consider this illustration: an apple, our x forward slash y, and a banana, our y. The apple states, I promise you an apple if you can give me a banana from the right. If this condition is fulfilled, you'd obtain the promise of an apple, that is an apple. So equals an apple. To apply this in language, let's have this example: chased Jerry. The verb chased functions as a transitive verb requiring a direct object to complete its meaning. So here, Jerry serves as the direct object. And chased, which is a verb phrase or VP, seeks an accompanying noun phrase or NP to its right. This is indicated by the forward slash followed by NP. Therefore, chased is represented as VP forward slash NP, with Jerry fulfilling the role of the NP. To illustrate the relationship, consider it as though Chase is saying, I'll assume the label VP if you provide me with an NP from the right. Again, from the right, since it is indicated by the forward slash. And because this condition is met, they are combined and labeled as VP. The method of combination, known as forward application, is depicted by an arrow pointing to the right. Consider another example: the doctor. In this instance, we're examining a noun phrase or NP. The article the requires a noun or N to form a complete noun phrase. Therefore, we represent articles like the as NP forward slash N, indicating the need for a noun on the right. Given that there is a noun doctor on the right, they can be merged and labeled as NP. And what's the arrow direction? That's right, it's pointing to the right, as merging follows the process of the forward application. Now pause the video and try to answer the following exercises. For the next rule, the backward application. It is represented by this mathematical equation: the y times x backslash y equals x. For the backward application rule, we'll use this equation y times x backslash y equals x, where x is still the functor and y is still the argument. The backslash, just like the forward slash, serves as our guide. Backslash means we will look to the left. It's like as x asking a y from the left. Give me a y coming from the left. Now using the illustration, a banana our y and an apple our x backslash y. So the apple states, I promise you an apple if you can give me a banana from the left. If this condition is fulfilled, you'd obtain the promise of an apple. That is an apple. So did you get the idea of forward slash and backward slash? Now our goal is to combine everything into categories. Let's have this example. The cat chased Mary. Can you still remember why our determiner the is represented by NP forward slash N? That's right, because in order for it to be a complete noun phrase, it needs to have an N beside it, or from the right. So cat is our noun. Chased is represented by a sentence or S that needs an NP from the left and NP from the right. And then we have Mary as our complete noun phrase. Now take a look at our second to the last line. The determiner the is not yet complete or not be an NP unless there is a noun from the right. Since there is a cat or N beside it, these two words can now be merged as one category, noun phrase. And since we combined the categories with the use of forward application, as it's using a forward slash, we will use an arrow pointing to the right. The same principle with chased Mary. Still, let's focus on the second to the last line. Chased is a transitive verb. Again, it needs an object or NP for it to be complete. That's why chased here is represented by S backslash NP, looking for an NP on the right. And since the condition of having an NP to the right is met, therefore chased Mary can be categorized as one, and they will now be represented by S backslash NP, which is the representation of verb phrase. And because it is combined using the forward application, the direction of the arrow is, that's right, still pointing to the right. And we'll combine all the symbols from the second to the last line. So we have the NP, and we also have the S backslash NP. S here is our functor, backslash means we're going to look at the left. In this case, S is looking for an NP from the left. And since the condition is met, the two categories are combined and become S or sentence. Now, since the direction of the combination was going to the left, therefore, we use an arrow that is pointing to the left. Any question? Are you ready to answer another exercises? Now pause the video and combine the categories using the forward and backward application. Now that's all for the forward and backward application rule of categorical grammar. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have learned something from this video. Hope to see you soon. Bye!